Hi everybody, this is Rue with Rue's How To, and today I'm going to be showing you how to reframe how you think about taking tests or anything else that you're focusing on. I'm focusing on tests right now because I know it's happening in our classroom and in a lot of classrooms throughout the US. It happens, it's just one of those things, and that can be very stressful. I know I still get stressed out when I think about tests. So I explain this to my students every year, and I wanted to share it with you, and it's about the brain. Okay, so this is a simplified, I can't even talk, it's a simplified version of the brain, okay, so just bear with me. All right, so the two parts of the brain we're going to be focusing on today is this little piece right here called the amygdala, and this section called the frontal lobe, okay? So amygdala, what is it in charge of? It's in charge of fight, flight, or freeze types of reactions. So I know, like, if I see a test or someone says pop quiz and then all of a sudden there's a test in front of me, I know I personally, first thing I feel is a little stressed. I'm like, you know, and you either want to like run away and not take the test, or you just blank out and you can't think of anything or the answers, you don't know where they are, you're just stressed. Whenever you're stressed, blood flow doesn't, you always have blood flowing through your body, of course. However, blood flow focuses mostly on the amygdala, which is in charge of the fight or flight, like I just said. So back in the hunter-gatherer days, or even before that, when danger happened, we were ready to either run or, you know, fight, you know, the threat that we saw. And that really worked for us back then, but nowadays, we don't really need that reaction anymore. So, but it still happens, okay? Because it's stored here in this part of our brain. So what we, like I was saying, the blood focuses more on here because it's getting you ready to run or fight. And we wanted to go focus more on the frontal lobe. So what is the frontal lobe in charge of? It's in charge of like higher level thinking. It makes you think like, should I really steal this t-shirt from my best friend or not? You know, like things like that. You're able to reason. All of the answers that you're looking for on a test is usually in the frontal lobe. It helps you to think things out, okay? So you want the blood flow to be more increasing in the frontal lobe area, right? Because that's where the answers are. That's where, you know, you access it. I'll tell you how, by being calm. So if someone gives you a pop quiz all of a sudden, first thing you gotta do, take a breath, okay? Because sometimes when we start to get into fight or flight, we start to take shorter breaths. That signals our brain that we're in emergency mode, okay? So to trick your brain, like, we are not in emergency mode, take deep breaths, okay? Tell yourself you know all the answers. Tell yourself that you are doing a good job. You know that you're gonna do a great job. Now, the second part I need to tell you is, let's say somebody else says, let's say the teacher says, you're gonna do an amazing job on this quiz, this test, or what have you. Don't worry about it. Now, there's another part of the brain that I need you to know about. Okay, so the other part of the brain that you need to know about is actually about the neurons. So the neurons are nerve cells that are in your brain. So what do they do? Okay, so let's have an example here. We got two brain neurons going on right here. One sends a message. It has a message right here. Like let's, I don't know, let's say the message is, I can't do well on tests, okay? It sends it to another brain neuron. Something called a synapse happens when they exchange information, and this bond gets stronger, okay? So let's say your brain neurons are saying, I don't know the answers, I'm not good at tests, I never do well on tests, I'm not gonna do my best. What's the point? You know, like let's say that's what the neurons are telling each other, they're getting stronger. If someone says over here, you know, you'll do well. Let's say there's a neuron that's being given to you that says, you're gonna do well on the test. You know all the answers. We've been reviewing it, you know it. Let's say somebody says that. It's not gonna connect. It's just gonna get killed off, right? It's just gonna disappear because there's no way it can connect. This bond is so strong. Now, so if you're like trying to calm yourself because you see a pop quiz or whatever, you're calming yourself, you're trying to make the blood flow more to the frontal lobe where all the answers are, and you may not feel like it's true for you. Or someone saying, you know this, you're gonna get this, and it doesn't feel true for you. You can change the way you think. You can change the way your brain works. what you do is when you start feeling like that negative thought, like, "Ah, I can't do this, I don't know the answers," you feel it somewhere in your body. For me, I feel it like a tightness in my chest, like I can't breathe, like I have short breaths. It just feels tight. Some people get headaches, some people get, their stomach doesn't feel well. Everybody feels it differently. You need to know how it feels like for you. Once you recognize, like, oh, I'm feeling that feeling, stop. Pause. You're trying to stop this from happening, okay? Stop, take a pause, take a breath, and consciously and purposely cut this off, make a new thought. Think back of all the times when you had a quiz and you did do well, or you had a test and you knew the answer. It's just because you did poorly on one test doesn't mean you're always gonna do that way, You're in charge of that. You have control of that, okay? So just pause it, pause that negative message, and put in a new one, okay? So I hope those 2 science tips really helped you out. I know they helped me out, and I know that you all will do well on your quizzes, tests, or anything you put your mind to. So have a karate kickin' awesome day. Thanks, everybody.